A friend of mine watched my video on the 5 things to check when choosing the right stocks, and she was like, bruh, you know this stuff is technical, right? And I was like, it doesn't have to be. So in case you're feeling a bit out of your depth with this stuff, I recorded myself analyzing a popular company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So just watch me do what I do. I must apologize if I sound a bit drowsy though. I'd just woken up a couple of minutes earlier. But it just goes to show you that you could do this in your sleep. So let's do this. So let's start off by a quick reminder of the 5 things we're checking for. So one is the company's total assets, or the total revenue or net turnover. So turnover or revenue. And second is the working capital. Third is profit. We'll check a couple of things on the profit. And fourth is dividends. Price. So start with assets. Alright, so that's that. If you want to check a company's assets, first of all we'll go to the CSCS website. The Nigerian Stock Exchange website, where I'll leave this link in the description, but this is where you find all the listed companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and you can actually get lots of information about all these companies. So let's try out GTB. It's a popular enough company. Click on Guarantee Trust Bank. It shows you the overview of the company, the name, how many shares outstanding, market capitalization. But what we want is the financials. So we're looking for the last full year audited financials, which is this audited financial statements, December 2017. Usually uploaded 3 months after the financial year end, which is March. So you click on that, it downloads a PDF file. Which we open. Now just take us a few seconds. Okay. I already downloaded it before, so let's just go to the start of the file. So usually you start off with something like this: group financial statements, blah 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 blah, just to be sure you're checking the right document. And then usually I just scroll down to the very bottom where you have all this. Is a lot of story. You could read it, it's good information, but what we're looking for today is the 5-year financial history, 5-year financial summary. Yeah, usually that's how it's described. Now you see there are 2 sets here. You have one for the bank and one for the group. I usually just go for the group. Don't ask me why. So total assets is just right there. So usually your financials are in 2 bits. You have the balance sheet, which is assets and liabilities, and then you have your profit and loss statement, which looks at your profit and loss statement, or statement of comprehensive income, which looks at how much money they made. But let's start off with the balance sheet. So if you look at the balance sheet, you have your total assets here. You copy that, take it to Excel, my favorite software in the world, and you see total assets this is an error. Okay, what's the unit? So let's check the unit. The unit is in thousands of naira. So let's make a note of that. Thousands of naira. So this is what now? A lot of thousands of naira. Let's take that into dollars. This divided by 36. Sorry about that. This divided by, so in dollars, this divided by 360. How many dollars is that? A couple of thousands of dollars. So this is essentially 9.3 billion dollars. So Guarantee Trust Bank is essentially what, 9.3 billion dollars. Our rule was what? Companies more than 250 million, right? So I guess it's kind of, the benchmark was what, 250 million or 500. So it's fine, it's big enough. So in terms of size, check. I'll just give it a bold green. Checks out. Now usually once it's fine in terms of total assets, I'll let it go, but we could also check the turnover. So let's look at the turnover. Turnover you will find when you look at basically the turnover is what they made. In the last year. So interesting. Okay, the turnover is not here, but if it was a manufacturing company, for instance, usually they would just start off, this is a bank. If it was a manufacturing company, they would just start off with how much the revenue, how much turnover they made in the previous year, and that'll be good. But we'll work with the assets for now. So let's take it out so it doesn't distract us. So let's look at working capital. Now another way to refer to working capital is your net current assets. Now this is net current assets. Now it's different from your net assets because you're only looking at current assets. That's assets that fold you within a year. I try not to go technical, but usually I would go to a website, Cashcraft. Yeah, they usually have a 5-year history, but I'm looking for the most recent year. Come here, look for GTB, click search. Okay, unfortunately they haven't loaded this year's numbers yet, but usually you just check the net current assets. I don't have a benchmark, so long as it's above 0 I'm fine. So we could say that's also green. Working capital is green. Working capital is green. Then profits, yeah, my favorite part. So we go back to the financials. We go to the total, the next page we take total, the statement of income, and come down to the bottom. So at the bottom here you have your profit for the period. The period being December 2017, but all the way back 5 years. We're only interested in this and this, so 2017 and 2013. Oh, typically I am. So the first thing you want to check is every single year between that period they made a profit. Alright, so that's check one. Consistent profit year on year. Now obviously we can also see that the profit was growing year on year. So this is a juicy company. 90 billion naira in year 1, 94 billion in year 2, 99 in year 3, 132 in year 4, and remember there was a recession in 2016, and 170 in year 5. So this is a great performance. But let's take it one step further. Let's check out the rate of growth. So how well were they actually growing? Because again we have a benchmark. So in this is 2013 performance, this is 2017 performance. Move this down. So the straightforward growth between the two periods is this divided by this minus 1. So they grew 89% in 5 years. But the year on year average growth, which is the one that we said has to be at an average of 3%. There's a funny formula to calculate that. Let me just type it in. Divided by this raised to the power of 1 divided by this. Or you could just say this. So the benchmark here is 3%. This blasted that, and the benchmark here is 30%. They also exceeded that. So GTB is really blazing, firing off on all engines here. So let's check profits. It's looking good. Total assets are good, working capital is good, profit is good. And finally, the next thing is dividends. Now I happen to have the history of GTB, and I know that they've been paying dividends year on year for the past 5 years. Usually I would come here to check, but I think this website has a bit of a glitch. It's not showing the dividends paid this year. But let me see, is there a way to okay, so one way, I think there's a glitch in the website, but usually you would see dividends in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, 5. But another easy way to check this is the difference between the profit after tax and the retained earnings is actually the dividends. So yeah, or thereabout. Rather, profit before tax. Yeah. Okay, so just take my word for it. This time, to pay their dividends. GTB has a history of paying dividends. Well, now let's check the last thing, which is price. So to check the price, we would go to the CSCS website. Again, I'll leave the link to this in the description. So you have a GTB. So there are two prices usually. Say you have the opening price and closing price. Just focus on closing price. That's what's important. That's the final price of the trading day or the previous trading day. So at the moment, GTB is 40 naira per unit. So how do you know if this is underpriced or overpriced? Let's find out what their earnings per share is. They've already done the calculation here, which is great. Some other companies would not have that calculation, and you might have to do it yourself. But GTB has been nice. They put it in their books. Earnings per share, sorry. Per share is 6. So if we do a comparison of their price and their earnings, you have okay, so usually the comparison should be, what did we say? This to this. So we said the price should be less than 15 times of this, right? So if we do 15 times that, so for this, it actually, it's fine. The price is good on the PE ratio. It's less than 15. If we were to check the book value, let me see if I can do that calculation here. The price to book value. Book value would be, let's go find the liabilities first. There we go. So we already have the total assets here. Minus that, so that's their net assets. So net assets and then we want to find out per stock. So if you come back here, check the profile. How many shares do they have outstanding? 29. Sorry, this is in thousands, right? So shares outstanding. So the book value is this multiplied by 1,000 because it's in 1,000 naira, then divided by the number of people sharing that money. So book value for GTB is actually 21 naira if we were to liquidate them today per stock. Every shareholder will get 21 naira. Okay, that's very arbitrary and random, but something of that sort. 21 naira for every stock you own, that's what I mean. So let me rephrase that. If we were to liquidate GTB today, the assumption would be every stockholder would get 21 naira per unit for every stock that they own. And right now is what the rule was. It shouldn't be. Times the amount. So if we compare the price to book value, what you have is price divided by this, and that gives you 1.9. So GTB is a bit overpriced, just slightly. So while it works on the PE ratio, when we go to the price to book value, you have a So does this mean it's a bad buy? Not really. It just means it's a bit expensive. Personally, I would still buy GTB because they rock on all these criteria up here. It's currently slightly overpriced, so it should be 1.5 times its book value. Or it shouldn't be more than 1.5 times its book value, but it's trading at 1.9 times. In the near future, if I were to look into my personal crystal ball, I'd say the price would probably go down slightly, not because there's anything wrong with the company, but because of the state of the economy or the state of the country. I'll talk about that in another video. But elections are nearby, prices tend to go down towards the end of the year, towards the election period. I'll tell you why later. So you may want to hold off. When the prices go down and it comes within this range, you buy as much as you can, because then it will be a steal. When I say within this range, that means if it comes to about this times this, so this should be your target price to buy GTB. Yeah, this GTB, when it comes to this, it's a steal. Target buy price. But even if you were to buy now, it's still a good deal, because the price to earnings ratio, if you look at its earnings in the last year, it's still good. Again, if I were to go into my crystal ball in the next 5 years, this price is going to be still, because I see it going all the way up to 50 or more. But that's just speculating now. On a good day, I'll buy GTB. And that's that. So thanks for watching. If this video has been useful to you, please leave a comment below and let me know what other video walkthroughs you'd like me to do, or if you'd actually prefer a live stream session. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on growing your money. Remember, it's not the size of your paycheck, it's how you use the money.